Welcome to the Brady Marks podcast with your host Brady Yashia from Brady Marks Buyers Advisory. Enjoy discussions with a variety of guests and pioneers from diverse backgrounds, each sharing their unique perspectives on property, business, industry and more.
Cecile Weldon is a force for change in the property industry. She's passionate, visionary and deeply committed to making homes healthier, more sustainable and future ready. As the founder of Weldonco and the driving force behind the Healthy Homes Australia movement, Cecile has spent over 2 decades bringing together building science, sustainability and consumer advocacy. With a background in education, innovation and policy advisory, she works closely with developers, builders and government to lift the standard of housing in Australia, ensuring homes are not only energy efficient but also support the well-being of those who live in them. We can't wait to hear her insights. Welcome, Cecile.
Thank you very much, Brady. It's such a treat to be here.
Yes, it's a pleasure to have you here with us. So I really want to go back and start from the beginning.
Okay.
You have carved out such a powerful space in the property world. What sparked your interest in energy efficiency?
Well, it's certainly not a sexy title, is it? Energy efficiency.
No.
Actually, I've got a sort of background in branding, business development, business strategy, and that was developed from quite a young age. You know, my dad was quite a leading entrepreneur. And I found myself in a consulting with one of Australia's largest real estate brands, LJ Hooker.
Yeah.
And looking for what is the competitive advantage here. This was about 15 years ago. I always had a passion for homes, architecture, design, natural light, all of those aspects, just because I've been a renter, I've been an owner, I've been an investor. And I think everyone has an experience of property. And I've also rented really crappy places during my student years, and understanding what makes a great home, to live in has always been something that was interesting. But when I was in real estate, I think what I came to understand is that there was something really big that was going to start impacting every single property touch point, because I started to notice that people started, when I was consulting for LJ Hooker and ended up being on the executive leadership team, I started to notice a trend that wasn't being tracked anywhere else, and that was buyers and renters were starting to ask for a power bill. Okay, so this was 15 years ago. And it wasn't sort of being noticed. It was hiding in plain sight. And I started to ask, how many people is this happening to? And everyone put their hands up. So it alerted me. I guess it was that idea of competitive advantage, understanding more about property and everything coalescing. I love to find things that are right in front of us that can make a really big difference.
Yes. Wow, that's great. That's a really interesting intro. So you're helping shift the mindset of Australians, the way they think about energy use and their homes. A lot of people still don't understand the connection between energy efficiency and their home.
Yeah.
Could you please explain a little bit more about what that relationship is between the two?
And also property professionals, this is a great opportunity for them to deliver a much more meaningful sort of connection for their clients as well, and the properties that they're listing and managing and maintaining and all of those things. So I think property value, the way we look at property when it's for sale or rent on the market, is really based on features.
Yes.
Okay, and this is a really amazing language. It's like a short form language that has been developed because the real estate moment is very short. You know, you've got maybe 2 minutes at an open home if you're a real estate professional. Maybe 3 hours you're with somebody in total, and you're going to make the highest purchase you've ever made in your whole life, right? So the real estate moment is very short, but so this language of features was developed to sort of try and enable people to compare properties quickly, to sort whether the big ticket items that I'm looking for are there. And so we're used to sort of what a property has. European appliances, Caesar stone bench tops, water views, that's the language. And that's how we share when we go out with people and say, it was a house had amazing outdoor living area. And that's how we share our whole property search journey. But what's happening with energy efficiency is suddenly we're going to have to look at our houses. We're looking at our houses about what can the house do for me? Suddenly the house is something that can perform. Okay, it can help me with my running costs. It can actually help me have a more comfortable home all year round. We're not used to looking at what the house delivers and as an experience. We're just used to this shorthand language of bits and pieces. And even our property data players, the big ones in the background, are all looking at a set of data points.
Correct.
Whereas this new conversation is around, okay, cost of living is impacting everyone. How can this property help me? Well, it's like, which are the features that are going to actually help with cost of living? So I'm under a lot of stress with mortgage rates rising. I've got uncertainty there. I can't control that. But I can control the house I choose with the right features, or I can choose how I upgrade. And those features are going to be a really great way to take control, have a bit of freedom, and be able to say it's the ongoing affordability I can control. So in some ways, it's shifting a whole new way of looking at affordability, because we're used to looking at affordability as one moment, afford to buy, afford to rent. We now need to look at afford to live in. And that's what energy efficiency can do when it's on a features level. And then the new piece of information coming down the line very soon is a home energy rating at point of sale or rent. And that's providing the way the whole house performs.
Yes. So the dialogue's going to change.
Oh, yeah.
And the general public and our listeners out there are going to be looking at things from a totally different perspective. Instead of walking into a home and looking at it 4 bedrooms, and what the house has to offer in terms of accommodation, they're going to be looking at it from a comfort perspective about the cost of running the home. So that's where the piece of educating property professionals comes into it, that they need to understand what it is that they're selling or what it is that they're buying for their client. So in terms of the word sustainability, a lot of people do not understand that word.
Yeah.
For those listeners out there, could you please explain in a very simple term what it means?
I've got a background in sociolinguistics, so that's the study of language and meaning, right? So we have to use words that mean something. And there's this phenomena where sometimes a word's been co-opted from different agendas and it's been used in so many different contexts that it actually loses its meaning. And so if I say to you sustainability in relation to property, most people go, oh, rainwater tanks, vegetable gardens, solar. There's not a clear pathway. And the problem with leading with this idea of sustainability on a particular feature is, yes, the environment matters. So that's just a no-brainer, right? But when you're in the buying, selling, your property search moment, what you're thinking about is what will that feature deliver me? And so it's one of these crazy, wonderful things that the same feature that will, have less impact on the environment is also delivering the most amazing lifestyle benefits, which is reduced running cost and a more comfortable home all year round, right?
Yes.
And so unfortunately, sustainability or leading with the environment makes it sound as though it's only a one benefit feature. Okay, so we have to flip that to make it more meaningful to people, to say, look, this is an amazing hot water system that is going to really make a big difference to you, because 26% of your bill is going to come from your hot water. And so not only will this deliver ongoing affordability for you,
correct,
and also it will have an impact on the environment. So in the property moment, people want to hear, how's it going to make a difference to me in the life I want to live in that house?
Yes.
Yeah? And so we don't use the word sustainability because it's not really clear its meaning in relation to what features.
And it seems too hard to understand.
Yeah,
So it's like that, put in the too hard basket. So there are certainly lots of lifestyle benefits living in a home that is energy efficient. Looking ahead, do you see that the demand for these kind of homes are going to become more and more popular?
If you like, if we reframe that, because comfort is a big deal. So let's just take a little moment to talk about comfort.
Yeah.
Everybody, if I ask everyone, have you ever lived in an uncomfortably hot or uncomfortably cold home? Everyone will tell you a story.
Correct.
Okay?
Yeah.
And it was visceral experience. Like some people go, oh my God, our house is so hot. I spent the whole summer in the mall, right? or in the library where the air conditioning was.
Yeah.
It creates arguments. People don't want to be in the house. You know what I mean? And it costs. The problem is where it's costing too much money to make that house comfortable. Yeah. Okay, so comfort is going to be the big value proposition. Being able to, now we can identify which features deliver comfort. Okay, before that information wasn't clear, right? Now we're going to be able to say these features are going to help deliver a more comfortable house all year round. So seasonal climate changes, it's going to be able to adapt beautifully to those.
Yes.
And when you need to turn on some mechanical heating and cooling, it's very efficient, so it's not going to cost you a lot. So I think comfort is the new, to be honest, comfort's always been important, but we've just never been able to identify it against any set of features to be able to sell it effectively and market effectively.
Yes.
Now with home energy ratings as well, so there's features, individual features, and then the home energy rating, comfort is going to become very transparent. You need to almost think of it as there's a whole lot more property insights about to flow, and it's not, the real estate environment is not the only place where it's flowing. It's the financial sector is also wanting to look at properties in this lens, because properties that are continually adapting and are cheaper to run and are more comfortable are more attractive to lenders as well, right? So it's a whole market shift in the way what we seek from property, what we want to pay more for, what we want to understand more about, and what we want to upgrade. So it's a new capitalisation pathway for investors. If I was an investor, I would not – either I'd look at a property and be willing to upgrade with energy efficiency features, but I would not consider it investment ready unless it had a good hot water system that was very efficient and a heating and cooling device that was very efficient. Yeah. And then it's absolutely capitalised in the right direction for a good return, but also to keep that property valuable in the market.
Yes. So you talk about the financial space and the financial sector. There are a couple of banks that have got green rates, which means that the mortgages that they can take out, the loans that they can take out from the bank, are a little bit more appealing because they're lower rates based on the energy efficiency in the property, which is quite new. Is this something that you think all the banks are going to take on?
There are a lot of banks now that are doing it, and some of them are doing it as a personal loan. Okay, so you can take a personal loan out at a very good rate to get solar, and some banks are doing it as an add-on loan. So if you've already got a mortgage with them, you can get this really amazing upgrade loan for energy efficiency features. It'll be solar, hot water system, heating and cooling, split reverse cycle split system air conditioner, but also a lot of the fintechs. So these are agile little lenders like Bright, BRIGHTE, and Plenty, that you can just get finance to upgrade that one feature. So if you want to, look, I just want to be able to upgrade the hot water system, or I want to get solar, or I want to get a battery, just one feature at a time. They're also providing very competitive rates. So you're going to see more of this. Sometimes they're disguised as a green loan.
Yes.
But you need to see it as the new value proposition and the new pathway. And I would ask your banks, I'd say, hey, what are you doing? I want to upgrade to make my home cheaper to run. What can you do for me? What is the best interest rate for this product? Because these new financial products are underpinned by support by the Clean Energy Finance Corporation that are helping banks to deliver these for Australians, because this is all part of a national house upgrade agenda, which is going to make us more the energy productivity that we're looking at as a nation. Our homes are wasting energy. So on a national level, we need to sort of upgrade our homes so that they're more comfortable. That's got an impact on health.
Yes. Yep.
And they're cheaper to run.
There are so many gold nuggets in that last answer of yours. I don't think that the majority of the listeners out there actually really understood that there was an opportunity for them to go to a bank and to ask them, what can you give me to help me upgrade certain features in my home that is going to make it more comfortable and cost me less.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Because if you imagine if it's costing me less, I've got more money really to keep paying my mortgage.
That's right.
We want to be able to claw back money that's really wasted. But also as a nation, we really, they predict that about 70% of our homes, some people say, 98%, are really below optimum in terms of health, okay? Because they're so uncomfortably cold and uncomfortably hot, we're not addressing even the seasonal climate changes, let alone the really big climate extremes very well. And so we really need our homes to be more resilient to these sort of pieces because it impacts so many pieces. So in some ways you need to look at it as almost like a renovation revolution that's going to occur.
I love that. Renovation revolution.
Yeah. But it's going to be almost like the micro upgrade.
Yeah.
So you don't have to do your whole house, right? You just need to upgrade. So a really good way to look at it is to look and say, well, how old's my hot water system? Is it gas? Well, when it's ready to change, replace it with more energy efficient. Reverse cycle split systems have an energy rating system. Get the highest rating one. Every time you replace with something more energy efficient, you've capitalized your property. Okay. And so in the right direction, especially if you're an investor, your renter is wasting their money on a hot water system when you want them to have more available finances to pay the rent.
Yes.
So why would you not replace that hot water system? So instead of costing $1,200, it's costing $198, and they're real figures if you change your system, to make that better, and they're likely to stay longer in that house, so greater retention, and you've capitalised in that property. So I think for investors, everyone needs to sort of shift their mindset and think, when we need to focus on the property and not renter, investor, all the different players, and just go, okay, what's the property like? Because when I upgrade the property, everyone wins.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
If you keep argy-barging back and forward from the relationships and trying to keep everyone happy, it's sort of not going to where the real solution lies. So I think any investor needs to go, as an investor, you want a good return.
Correct.
Okay. And if you can't afford to upgrade that property, then it's time to release it to the market and get maybe a new apartment, something smaller to invest in that doesn't require any of this work, because you really need to understand, to be a good investor now, you need to make sure that property is investor ready.
And investment friendly.
Yeah, rent ready.
Rent ready. And
Right.
it's an asset that needs to be a benefit to you, not a hindrance.
The other thing is important to know that a number of these are on the emergency repair list. So if you think hot water, heating and cooling, and cooking, right?
Yes.
So if they break down, you've got 24 hours to replace, you can replace it with much more efficient.
Yeah.
Then that can go into your asset register and you can be depreciating that, right? So, it's a whole shift where if you need to sort of lean in and not go, oh, no, I don't want to spend any money on this property. You're going to be forced to.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So what my advice to everyone is, when home energy ratings come down the line, which the New South Wales government has said they're going to act first on, this has been
when will this be? Sorry, just to jump in.
They're already beginning pilots with the real estate sector. So just to step back a bit on that, so all the states and territories with the federal government have agreed to work on a national scheme. It's called disclosure, to be able to disclose the energy rating at point of sale or rent. And all the states and territories have worked together, as well as a number of peak bodies and organisations, to develop a unified framework about how that's going to happen. And every state and territory will activate that at a time that's right for them, because in Australia, we might have a national housing vision, but it's enacted in a state-based system. And so New South Wales have put their hand up and said, we're going to be the first ones to do this. And so you need to understand, for investors and anyone, because, even if you're a homeowner, right, it's an investment.
Of course.
It's your real sweet investment.
Yeah.
Okay, you're living there, but you're also an investor. So everyone needs to think in terms of this mindset and think, you know what, I want to get on early in the game before ratings come down. I want to upgrade as many of these features as I can with the available, finance I have, so that I'm in a really good position by the times ratings come. But also the big amazing thing is I've had reduced running cost on the way. Do you see what I mean?
So it's a win-win.
You know what? It's a win-win-win, because I get the short-term benefit, longer-term benefit. I get the capital value, and I get that readiness for regulation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the lay person that's looking to buy a property, what should they be looking at for an energy efficient home? Let's say they're upgrading from an apartment into a house. What would your tips be for them?
Well, first of all, I'd ask the real estate professional, have you done any energy efficiency features training?
Okay.
On the get-go. And if you get one that has done some sort of training, that's amazing. If not, I would be looking for these things. And remember, property marketing is an opportunity lens.
Yes.
Right? That's why we always have that phrase, renovator's delight.
Mm-hmm.
So either the property doesn't have it, but it could be added.
Yes.
And you've got the capacity to add it, or it's already got it. So what you're going to need to look at, I've already mentioned hot water. The hot water system is really important. You want to see a heat pump hot water system or a solar hot water system. They're the two hot water systems you want to see because we want to be getting off gas.
Okay, so gas cooking is something that people are going to move away from.
Yeah, you want to see an induction cooktop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a reverse cycle split system air conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can have a multi-unit where the same sort of inverter serves lots of different rooms.
Yeah.
The other thing I'd look at is sort of old knowledge. So this is north-facing living rooms, right? Because that's going to give you the opportunity with the right shading to get beautiful free winter heat.
Yes.
Right, without the horrible, harsh sun of summer.
Yeah.
So I'd be looking for external shading.
Yes.
Yeah. I'd be asking about insulation.
Very important because it can be very hot in summer if there's no insulation.
Insulation is an important feature because it's the gift that keeps giving. Insulation, unlike everything else you do, doesn't depreciate. So if it's been installed correctly by a professional and you've got the installer's receipt and the warranty, that will keep going for 25 years, right? So it's a really great investment. So if a house didn't have any of these things, the first thing I'd do is put ceiling insulation, get external shading on the right sides, and then I'd start upgrading the heating, the heating and cooling.
Yes.
Now, getting back to that old knowledge, which is those north-facing living rooms, you want to look for beautiful cross-ventilation pathways. So that's a place where I can open a window or a door on one side of the house and the air can flow all the way through. If I open a few doors, it doesn't have to be completely open all the time, but I can open doors and the air can go all the way through. Because what's super interesting about cross-ventilation is it's not that it captures breezes, it actually sucks the hot air through and out the house, right? So
very interesting.
The other thing you want to look at is an optimal layout. So when we talk about an optimal layout, that means that rooms can be closed off. So I can shut the doors of the living room and just heat and cool the living room, right?
Yeah.
So little old-fashioned, this is old knowledge, right?
Yes.
This is before there was mechanical air conditioning. This is how homes responded to climate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another little tip I'd say to everyone, when you're looking at north-facing living rooms, make sure the Compass app on your iPhone or Android is set to true north.
Okay.
Okay. When you go into the settings, the default is magnetic north. So when you set it to true north, that's the path of the sun. Okay. And that's what we want. So you want to be able to say, hey, wow, we've got north-facing living rooms. The reason that matters is because they're the rooms you heat and cool the most. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a fantastic tip for the listeners.
A little tip.
Yes. Yeah. So do you think buyers will pay more for an energy efficient home?
There's two things. We always can't get ahead of ourselves. I'm going to say yes, but we can't get ahead of ourselves because I may pay more for that house because it's next to grandma. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So we have to remember that value, what we're going to pay more for, is very personal.
Yes, correct.
On another level, it's a perception of value, right? And being able to see this property has features that are going to help me with my cost of living, that really matters to me. Okay, absolutely people are going to pay more when that's properly identified.
Yes.
Okay, because they can't control the mortgage or the rent, but they can control that's a piece that they can have some control over, right? So, but the other thing is the formal valuation frameworks. And these are currently looking at how to introduce this idea of a more energy efficient home.
Yeah.
And I think an energy rating coming down the line, an home energy rating certificate, whilst all the homes of Australia are likely to get, we're all going to be in the same boat. It's going to be a very low rating.
Yeah, to begin. Yeah.
But what it's doing is giving people really valuable insight about how they need to upgrade to be more comfortable. And it also gives an independent and verifiable piece of property insight that over time will impact the way you see a property.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this to all happen.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about a personal experience when I was a selling agent going back about 15 years ago, 16 years ago. We were selling a property for a couple that had built a home that was environmentally friendly at the time. They had the cross ventilation.
Yep.
It was a beautiful home. And for them, they put a lot of extra features and extra thought into the property. Unfortunately, they were moving. When I say unfortunately, they didn't get to enjoy the house as much as they wanted to because they needed to move interstate. So when the property came to market and they explained to us as the selling agents all the features, we were, wow, this sounds fantastic. And they were very, very forward thinking in those days. But when it came to market and the buyers came through, they didn't appreciate that it was an energy efficient home. They couldn't understand why they wanted a slightly higher premium for the home. So
it's an interesting story, Brady, because one of the things about that story is sometimes the people that have upgraded the home, let's call them a true believer. They've made and they may have done it for the environment, or might be all sorts of motivation. Some of this is very complex.
Yeah.
All right, and it's like it's very overwhelming for people to hear. So even though they might think that's the most important thing about this house, most people coming there are wanting to see how many bedrooms, is it close to schools and transport.
Correct, that's exactly right.
Those top level things will always be important. So it's important when, as a property professionals, when you're positioning this, that you don't interrupt that first level that everyone's looking for.
Yes.
But then when everyone's settled and is chosen and really understands those property, then you bring in these other features and you explain it in terms of, reduced running cost and more comfortable all year round, because it was probably a lot of the environmental pitch in that. And remember, we really support the environmental impact. But when you're trying to sort through houses, it can be a little overwhelming.
Yes.
Okay. The other thing is that in all the influences and shifts of value, so let's say there's energy productivity, we need as a nation our homes to be better. There's sort of regulation around that. There's also the big data players now, people like Cotality, used to be CoreLogic, that have invested in rapid rate. So that you're going to start to see data around energy efficiency potential flowing in outside of a home energy rating. Right, there's going to be more information, more granular. There's new financial products, all of this coming down. But there's also this amazing collaboration that's occurring on the property technology side. So realestate.com, Domain have all agreed to work together to create, to support an energy efficiency features standard. So some of the problem is these features that were in that house were not able to be showcased.
Correct.
In online marketing.
That's right, yeah.
So agents use a lot of CRMs and listing, and then it's pushed up to a listing portal to be able to showcase the features of a property. Yep. But if they're not there to tick, it can't be showcased, whereas that's about to change. So in the next 12 months, you're going to find all of the big portals that have signed on to this and the CRMs and the smaller pieces, property maintenance, property management CRMs are going to start to flow in the same set of energy efficiency features and calling them the right names, so that then everyone's going to have a much more robust experience. If I'm a seller, they're going to be showcased, they're going to be visible at open homes and all of those sort of things outside of the agent's conversation, but also they're going to be called the right name. And so these are big influences flowing into the way we see property.
So how long do you think it will take for buyers and sellers to adapt to this new way of thinking once the education's out there?
What's really interesting is in the property moment, the real estate moment, let's call it the real estate moment, when I'm trying to find a place, visibility matters. So if I go to an open home and an agent's going, outdoor living area. It's got this, it's got that. And I'm pointing at things. That pointing at things is making a feature visible. And that's saying this is more value.
Yes.
Because of this, I'm going to charge you more for this house. Okay.
Yes.
If it's not there, what it says is it's not valuable. Okay. So visibility matters.
Yes.
So the research shows two things. Buyers and renters say, I can't see it. I can't see it in the property listing. And I don't know how to ask for it yet. Because it hasn't been in that whole property experience, in the listing experience, in the agent experience, because their CRMs aren't there. It's not in the training regimes. People don't know the right name for it.
Yes.
And the latest research done by the CSRO shows that people are desperately in the search field trying to find that. It might be saying, where's the all-electric homes, right? Or an efficient hot water system, or what do we call it? Sometimes you see in listings energy efficiency appliance. Well, what's that? That's an ambiguous word, right? It could be, I don't know, dishwasher. It could be a hot water system. So that's, it creates confusion and makes it really hard for people to find.
I think that's what the problem is. There's so much confusion and it's too hard to actually do the research and find out what does it mean.
Because it's not visible.
Yeah.
It's not the right name and it's not a trusted set of features.
Yeah.
And that's what's about to change.
So talking about technology, AI is influencing most of our lives. What's the effect that it's having on energy efficiency?
Well, remember AI is old knowledge. AI works with what we already know, okay? It doesn't work with what's not known yet or what's about to be created. So in terms of an energy efficiency features standard, what AI is going to reflect is the fragmented mess that we currently got. Okay, but it's going to reflect that in 100 different ways and very quickly and all of those sort of things. So what we have to do is keep investing in HI, human intelligence, which is really building our own knowledge when it's new knowledge. So as soon as this energy efficiency features standard that the property technology sector as a peak body is actually backed and supported as a collaboration. So this is a very important piece, industry-led standard, very first time. Once that starts to flow, then the AI is going to start hooking into what's right. The right names, the right set of features, and especially because it's an industry standard, it will pick it up across the tech, right? And it will resonate that, okay? Because at the moment, what it's reflecting is a bit of a mess because that's how everyone feels. Okay. And the other thing is when energy efficiency features, home energy ratings start coming in as well. So you almost need to see it's sort of like a whole market waiting for new knowledge, property knowledge to enter. And it's going to enter in a very trusted way. The two sectors, government regulation around energy performance science, which is what a home energy rating is, and then the technology sector that enable the real estate sector to showcase properties. All of them are aligning. So I think the consumer, it's going to be a great new environment to go searching for property. It will be very confronting at the beginning because you're not used to looking at a property in that way. And so people that are selling, don't panic because it's almost like everyone in Australia is going to get a bad rating. Like it's everyone next door, everyone that's selling in your market is going to get a really bad rating because it's 98% of our properties, but we're all on a journey together and it's what you do next that matters.
So talking about what you do next that matters, for someone who's looking to sell their home and they're thinking that in the next 3 to 6 months they want to come to market, how can they get ahead of the pack and what could they do to their homes to start increasing their energy efficiency?
Well, what I do is, first of all, remember one thing. Whatever you're going to do, make sure you keep the receipt, okay, and the warranty documents because this is verifying, okay, and that's valuable. So people that are putting solar on, if you're putting solar on or battery storage because there's solar rebates and all of those things around, then keep those documents because people don't realise that solar has 4 warranties associated with it, and they can last 25 years again, right? If it's definitely put insulation in.
Of course,
I would be, again, the same things, a hot water system, heating and cooling, cooking. I'd really start to see to upgrade those features, and then I'd have a great little pack to give the agent and say, listen, we've got these receipts. These are really high energy rated split systems or whatever. We want you to, they're ready for you to showcase.
Yes.
Okay. So just remember, you get the benefit in the short term. There are lots of grants available for you to upgrade. So if you just look on, just do a search if you're in New South Wales or whatever state you are, home upgrades, energy efficiency upgrades, because everyone wants you to have a better house.
And everyone wants to be comfortable.
Yeah, they do.
So for somebody that's looking to completely knock down and rebuild, what would your 3 tips be to them?
Well, remember, the most important thing is it's not about a new house. Okay, so the most energy efficient is not a new house.
Yeah.
So a lot of older homes were built with that traditional knowledge in mind.
Yes.
So they've got great orientation, great optimal layout. They've got great cross ventilation. So first of all, lose the mindset that I have to knock it down because the most efficient house is the one that already exists. Okay.
Okay. That's a very good point.
And then go, okay, can I replace everything that we've got there just with something more efficient? Is the layout something that I love? Even if you decide to open up the rooms, make sure you could close them off in winter to heat and cool them, right? But if you are going to knock them down, remember the new build in the National Construction Code, there is an energy rate and energy efficiency compliance at the design stage of a new build, and your architect will be working with you on that. Always make sure it's beyond compliance. So currently in Australia, it's 7 stars out of 10. That's about the building shell, and how well it manages heating and cooling. Say to them, I want to go beyond compliance. So the sweet spot is 8 stars for a new home design, and that's where you get an uplift in value just by saying that it's an 8-star home as at the design stage. And even though it's tempting to not do a lot of the energy efficiency pieces, individual appliances and things like that, stop, invest in it. Don't see it as, I don't need to do this, this is more important, because when you start to live in that house and it's very expensive to run, you're going to, what was I thinking?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And definitely if you're going to have floor-to-ceiling glass doors, make sure you've got 2.1 metre shading off on that northern side so you don't get that sun hitting the glass. The minute the sun hits the glass, it's going to heat up that house so fast and your air conditioning is going to be struggling to keep up with it.
And it's going to be very expensive.
And also just, there's a lot of really exciting things going on in the, modular space as well. I mean, there's going to be opportunities for people to put a new house in their backyard. Do you know what I mean? So there's all sorts of opportunities that will be coming in this sort of reshift of the way we look at property.
We are so fortunate to be able to talk to you today. And the listeners out there, I'm sure, have been going, wow, wow, wow. So I'm very excited, as I said earlier on, to see these changes. As a property professional, for me, it's important for people to not only see that they are buying in the right location, but they are buying a valuable asset that is going to be comfortable for them to live in, and it's going to be a place where they want to entertain. They want to make it a lifestyle home. I think we've got to use the word lifestyle more so than just come and see our home. It's our lifestyle home, because everybody, looks at a property through different eyes, not from the perspective of living in it and enjoying it as a family.
And it's an interesting thing, the word comfort. If you look at the word comfort, it resonates. There's lots of levels of meaning for the word comfort. So there's literally how comfortable is a house in terms of a temperature, and there's science-backed things that'll say, well, that temperature is comfortable. But then there's got to go, well, how comfortable am I here? Because I've got my own temperature reading. But comfort is really interesting, because if I say, oh my God, it was such a comfortable house, everyone just wanted to hang out, I think it sort of resonates with love for me.
Yes.
It's like it was such a great house. The family just loved being in it. And that's what happens when it's naturally comfortable, temperature-wise, but also it's got that great resonance for comfortably well off, which is a little bit of that financial language in there. So actually the comfortable home is the new dream home because of all those reasons. Because what's the point of all those showcase features if I actually don't like hanging out in it?
That's right. I mean,
Do you
how
see what I
often
mean?
do we walk through a home that's brand new, but it is so cold?
Yeah.
It's so,
And we pick it up. So
Yeah.
I guess soon it's going to be much more transparent for us. And remember, the beauty about this home energy rating that's coming down, it's not only just going to tell you how the building shell is performing, it's going to tell you if it's got solar, how balanced is the energy use? You know, is the energy it's needing and the energy it's generating, is that well balanced? You know, and it's also on the other side, it's going to go, how can you upgrade? So what's crazy wonderful about that is everyone's going to get a little document that goes, these are the things you should be upgrading, okay, to continue your journey. So it's almost like a new way we look at whatever renovation upgrade we've planned. We always have to weave these things in now.
Yeah, and it's brilliant.
Yeah.
So shifting a little bit now, talking on a personal note with you, you go for a swim every morning.
Yes.
Summer, winter.
Oh, well, not the last couple of days.
Okay,
Yes.
but generally speaking, in winter, you will still, there are some mornings where you do swim.
Yeah.
How do you stay so disciplined?
Look, it's not a discipline. It's more like you need to think of it as a ritual for me. There's something very beautiful. And I mean, we've all had hard times in our life. You know what I mean? And there were times when it was really rough for me. I found myself a single mum. You know, when I was quite young, and that wasn't what I'd planned, if you know what I mean. And there were times when just it didn't matter what was going on in my life, the sun would rise. And it was just so beautiful. And I think beauty and the natural world is just so nourishing to you when there's a lot going on. Right. And so it's just become this incredible ritual for me because it's almost like even if you're stuffed up the last day, there's another day coming. Yeah. And I think it's an amazing thing that it's on the headland at Avalon Beach, and there's an amazing coffee van there called Classic Coffee. And so you can do it in luxury because you can sit on the headland, watch the sunrise with an amazing cup of coffee, and you look down at the ocean pool. And after that, after the sun's risen, when it's a little bit warmer, we go for a walk on the beach, walk up the sand dunes, and then dive in the ocean pool. And it just fills you with gratitude. But also I think, especially when you run your own business, sometimes it's nice to have that break where then you go, okay, now I'm going to go to work.
Yes.
And you know what I mean? But I think it's also an amazing thing because I can come to the same beach. I can come and I'm the same person, but every day that beach is different and every day I'm different. Yeah. So it's just got this beautiful continuity of everything is the same, but everything is different. And that feels very hopeful for me. I mean, as a person, I'm a realist optimist. Okay.
Yep.
And so because I had entrepreneurship from when I was a little girl, everything is about from an opportunity lens. So I'm able to it was a great skill my father gave me to, you know, creativity works when there's no way through. Okay. And so that opportunity lens of going, okay, how can we reframe whatever's going on and see the opportunity in it, right? And see the opportunity to create, the opportunity to look newly at this situation. And I think that little ritual is just something that keeps me vital, I think, in that. But also I find it endlessly inspiring.
Well, you are an inspiration. So I want to do something a little bit different. I want to ask you a few quick questions.
Okay,
so
I'm up for
you'll
it.
go choose either one of the options that I give you. Solar panels or insulation?
Oh, well, gee, that's hard. It's not sexy, but I'd say insulation.
Renovate for energy efficiency or knock down and rebuild?
I'd always say upgrade first. But I mean, all of these both are right? But I'd say my first instinct would do that first.
Long-term savings or short-term investment?
Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? Short-term investment. I mean, it depends what your appetite is. If you want to flip it and get in and out quickly, I'd probably go the long-term savings because that is the investment, if you know what I mean.
Sustainable suburbs or green high-rises?
Oh, well, look, the thing about high-rise and density, there's a big tip I'm going to say to everybody, density plus greenery. Density plus greenery is wonderful. So if there's density in your suburb, ask first to see the landscaping because beautiful landscaping can make density disappear. Okay, so people shouldn't just be triggered by density because we do need more people to come into our suburbs of different diversity, the grandmas, the grandpas, all of those. So density and greenery those two together.
Okay, they're all great answers. Thank you for bringing such amazing wisdom to this chat. It's been even better than what I thought, and I'm sure the audience will be forever grateful for listening to this episode. So before we leave, is there a quote that you want to share with the audience that you live by, that you think is something?
Look, one of the quotes, and again, it's that opportunity lens, I suppose, is a wonderful quote in Hamlet, Shakespeare, that says, "'Tis neither good nor bad, but thinking makes it so." So I'd say that to everybody with home energy ratings, and maybe a bit of a shock, but reframe that and see it as an opportunity because we're all in this together and we're all upgrading as a nation, which is a pretty amazing thing, right? So that levels out. And what you feel you're suffering from as a seller momentarily, you're going to take advantage of when you're a buyer. Right? You get you get the swings and roundabouts.
Yes.
But that's a great quote because it helps. It's just the power of reframing whatever your situation is. And I just have to say shout out to you, Brady, because I think, we did energy efficiency training together, and I know your team is going on to do even more. And I think what's important about that is just your commitment to serve your customers, because I think having a buyer's agent that is really looking out for these features and this proposition is a really wonderful thing to bring to market as a real competitive edge, I think. And I just want to really support you in doing that.
Thank you. I really appreciate everything that you've taught us.
No worries.
If someone wants to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Either LinkedIn, if it's on a professional level, or if they go to futureagent.com.au, that's my real estate training, but also has insights in there for everybody that wants to look at any of these research documents that I've been talking about. There's a contact us form. Absolutely reach out.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me today.
It was a treat. Take care.